They like how you so cool, how you so fly, how you so fresh, you ain't even gotta try. Y'all pump faking, I ain't even gotta lie. Hit them with the hits, game winner switch in.
It's time for the penultimate round of the Hendricks County Boys Basketball Tournament here in Danville as we get set to bring you live coverage as the Warriors of Danville host the Quakers of Plainfield, the winner to go on to the championship of the Hendricks County Tournament. Today's game is brought to you by Endeavor Communications. Internet speeds up to a gig. Learn more at weendeavor.com. And by Nathan Begley of Indiana Farm Bureau Insurance. Stop knocking on wood and call Nathan Begley at Indiana Farm Bureau Insurance. Well, good evening, everybody. Alongside Coach Bill Fenlon, I'm Kurt Darling. Coach, a pleasure to be back with you here on the ISC Sports Network as two teams look to go to the championship round of the Hendricks County Tournament where they'll face Avon on Monday.
Kurt, we've got two veteran high school coaches here and two really good high school programs facing off, and I'm really excited about tonight's matchup.
Both teams 7-4 coming into this contest. Of course, Plainfield undefeated in conference play. The Warriors 1-1 in Sagamore conference play, of course, but still both of them coming off of big wins just a couple of days ago in this very tournament. Of course, Danville getting the win over Cascade back on January 7th. Plainfield getting the bye to these semifinals, so this is their first game of the county tournament. But of course, you mentioned those veteran coaches here. Coach Andy Weaver now in his 13th season as the head coach of the Quakers. Meanwhile, Brian Barber, of course, whom you are very familiar with as well, in his 26th year leading the Warriors.
Wow, that's crazy. I knew I was old, but I'm feeling really old. The important thing to know right now, though, Kurt, is the barber shop is open.
Yes, it is. The barber shop is open here in Danville, of course, both downtown as well as here inside of the gymnasium here at Danville High School as we are underway. Danville getting the tip, and they'll take the first possession here of this one. A few players, of course, to look out for in this ball game as well. One of them right there is Jace Scrafton, a 6'6" senior for Danville, who's averaging about 10 points per contest. Though Plainfield, on the other hand, have won 3 of their last 4 coming into this one at 7-4 coming into the semifinal. A couple players, Harper Baker Lands in particular, wearing number 20, or rather 22, I should say. 16.5 points per ball game as he gets an opening shot there and can't quite get it to fall.
Well, Danville opening, Kurt, in a 2-3 zone to start the game.
Well, Coach, we just called the girls' game of this iteration. Of course, Plainfield beating Danville in that semifinal of the county tournament. And I'm noticing a similarity. Both teams really starting off running fast in a high-pace offense here to get things going.
Well, they both would like to get going in transition, as you know that's the way the game's going at every level right now.
Noah Smith off of the very ho-hum alley-oop, but an alley-oop nonetheless gets things going here for Plainfield early.
And you can see that Plainfield intends to extend their defense, not really trapping, but trying to bother the basketball on the way up the floor.
Spin around jumper goes there for Stephen Webb on the other end as both teams trade baskets here in the early going. Plainfield coming off a win over Zionsville, which is an impressive win for them. 77-68 the final score. Of course, anytime you can beat an HCC team, it's certainly something to talk about. So is Landon Gilliat as he gets that three-pointer to fall for Plainfield.
Not a lot of regard for the line there. Landon was a good step beyond the three-point line.
And that was Elijah Tricker working the offense here for Danville as it gets poked out of bounds. He is by far their most prolific scorer, 18 points per ball game. Coach, he's coming off a 32-point performance against Cascade in the opening round of this tournament.
Yeah, he's really been ringing the bell as of late. 32, 19, and 25 in his last 3 games.
So here is Scrafton. Again, the 6'6" senior, also a wide receiver on the football team at Danville. As the Warriors try to establish some quick tempo on offense as Webb with the finger roll inside can't quite get that one to finish. And Baker Land somehow comes away with the ball as he gets it to Barton to keep things going for the Quakers. Stolen away by Tricker for Danville. Everybody high octane here in this early portion of this ball game. And Benjamin Coleman going to get charged with the foul on the offensive variety, going back the other way here for Danville. Well, Coach, I'd say everybody needs to take a little bit of a chill pill here in the early going, I would.
It's fast and furious here to start, and that's how we like it. Both teams excited about playing. They had the day off yesterday.
Absolutely. Of course, this was supposed to be the finals day of this tournament. However, yesterday's snowstorm delayed things by 24 hours, so we have the semifinals tonight. And as I mentioned before, the final between one of these two teams and Avon will be played on Monday. A wide open shot that time off of the flop, that time from Plainfield. That was Cameron McMahon from Danville who left that one off the mark, and it goes out of bounds. Of course, the Warriors having to go through a little bit of a rebrand themselves after losing several players from their semi-state run just a year ago. And there's a nifty shot taken there.
Nice little wrinkle. The screener ended up slipping to the rim for a nice layup. Good out of bounds under concept.
Offensive rebound here by the 6'8" Noah Smith, and he can't get the follow-up to go. And that's something that we talked about in the previous game, Coach. Getting that offensive rebound and immediately putting up that shot. Meanwhile, back the other way, McMahon gets that one to go on the reverse.
Well, we spent a little time talking about extra possessions, and you get extra possessions by winning the turnover battle and getting on the offensive glass. That time, Plainfield got the offensive rebound, couldn't make the easy stick back. And typically, with Danville in a zone, typically that's a pretty good opportunity to offensive rebound because people don't have prescribed blockout assignments.
The pull-up jumper doesn't go there for Cameron McMahon. And an opportunity here for Plainfield, and they cash that one in with Harper Baker-Lands. 2 3-pointers here by Plainfield in the early going. They lead 8-6. The game moving at a fast pace already inside the 4-minute mark here this opening quarter. Tricker with a hand in his face and gets that one to fall from 15 feet out. Another turnover by Plainfield. Tricker hit in stride, one-on-one there with Baker-Lands, and Baker-Lands just does enough to keep that one from falling. Lands from 3.
Great unselfish play in transition. He saw Lands trailing, just shoveled it back to him, and he's able to step right into that 3.
Plainfield shooting well from behind the arc. They do so 31% on the season, as Webb leaves that one short. And instead of a rebound, it's going to be a foul here on Plainfield.
Tell you what, that is a cardinal sin right there. He's taken about a 15-foot, 14-foot mid-range jump shot. You cannot foul a jump shooter in that situation.
That was Colton East, who was the guilty party that time. Meanwhile, Stephen Webb at the line, a 64% foul shooter this season. He hits the first one. Webb had a season-high 14 points against Harrison of West Lafayette back on December 14th. Of course, that was in a losing effort, a considerable losing effort to Harrison. 86-47, the final score of that one. And Webb leaves the other one empty. Barton working things in the high post. Inside for Smith. And all the way around the horn. And Baker-Lands gets his pocket picked by Tricker. Tricker splits the defenders, puts it up, and draws the foul. Well, Elijah Tricker showing his athleticism here, just pokes it away there from Harper Baker-Lands and splits midair, mind you.
That is the second kind of poke away he's had that's led to a bucket or a foul opportunity on the other end.
And he gets credit for the steal that time, but Tricker Leaves everybody wanting there with that missed foul shot, as he shoots just 63% from the charity stripe this season. But Tricker corrects himself on the second one.
Just got to get calibrated, Kurt.
Back to a one-possession, or rather a one-point game, I should say, as we approach the 2-minute mark.
And Danville happy to stay in the zone.
Noah Smith on the push inside and spin around jumper.
That's great zone offense. Put the ball in the middle of the zone and see how the zone reacts.
Harper Bakerland steals the ball and is tripped in transition by Scrafton. And so that'll be the second team foul here for Danville. We'll take a look at this again. Heads up play on the steal there by Bakerlands. As we tick inside the final 2 minutes here of this opening quarter. And a little zone defense now here from Plainfield. Noah Smith tries to handle it with ease again. Offensive rebound by Chris Arbonitis. Smith puts it up again and still misses. Here is Elijah Tricker. Just inside the arc, leaves that well short. Pushed back into play this time by Coleman. 3 on the way from Scrafton, too strong. Here is Barton. Cutting inside is Smith, right down the lane, and an offensive foul going to be called on the big man. Well, you certainly like the aggressiveness there, Coach, as you talked about early on, just a little too aggressive.
Well, he's cutting down the middle. He ends up with the basketball, and really didn't have any choice but to try to make the official make the call in his favor, which didn't happen.
Last season, Plainfield playing to a 15-8 record, eventually lost to Brownsburg in the sectional for the second year in a row last season. Of course, playing a little bit better this year, but still winning in spurts and not streaks. Certainly wanting to be a little bit better here for Coach Andy Weaver. Here is Scrafton. Spinning inside on Harper Bakerlands.
Great take by Scrafton. He rejected the ball screen and had a wide open drive on the baseline and was able to finish that through some contact.
Well, Bakerlands misses the three-pointer, but Colton East off the offensive rebound gets that one to go. Final 30 seconds here as Tricker will try to hold for the final shot along with McMahon. Tricker getting a lot of the pressure applied that time from Swafford. Tricker double teamed, gets his pocket picked. Here is Lands, 1 second to play, and there's gonna be a foul coming up. He wanted a shooting foul that time, but it doesn't look like that's gonna be the case. And so with 0.2 of a second left to play, enough for an inbound and maybe a quick shot here.
Well, if he caught it, I can't believe he wasn't in the act because he knew there was less than a second to go. Maybe the official didn't feel like he actually caught it.
Inbound sent up, and it's not going to be a shot there for Plainfield, but still they come away with a 3-point lead going to the second quarter after this. Back in a moment here on the ISC Sports Network.
Want lightning fast internet speeds? Choose Endeavor. Go from slow to whoa, from last to fast, and wait to great. Endeavor Communications is bringing the fastest internet speed in Indiana to your town, so you can download huge files in a flash, stream videos at blazing speeds, and game online faster than you thought possible. Think fast and contact Endeavor Communications today at join.weendeavor.com.
Second quarter here at Danville Gymnasium on the ISC Sports Network. 15-12, your score with Plainfield on top of the Warriors. Bill Fenlon, Kurt Darling here with you. Well, Coach, competitive to say the least here in that first quarter, but still lots to work on here for both squads.
Good first quarter. I'll tell you, it reminds me a little bit of the women's game that we just did, in that Plainfield wants to come out and really heat Danville up a little bit with pressure, and Danville is going to have to find ways to handle the basketball positively and make that pressure work against the Quakers. And if they do, they're going to be in great shape. I feel like the Quakers have a very good attack against the Danville zone, and we'll see if Danville, is committed to staying in that zone for the duration of the game. Looks like they are going to stay in it here to begin the second quarter.
Harper Baker lands the leading scorer here for Plainfield. 2 made three-pointers for 6 points. And trying to build on his total. Lots of traffic underneath here for the Quakers, and it goes out of bounds in an empty possession for Plainfield. Well, Coach, this is a Plainfield squad that only averages about 8 turnovers a ball game, which is a respectable number to say the least. And so far, they've taken care of the basketball for the most part outside of that possession.
Well, if they've averaged 8, I've got them for 4 already. So they're about halfway home to their average.
Going for the Ute that time. It goes a little too long that time, but the Quakers are bailed out at the moment. They'll reset this possession. Landon Gilliott, he had that opening 3 for Plainfield to get things rolling. He will try it again from deep. Leaves it a little too short that time as a foul is called here going for the rebound. And that's going to be on Danville.
Well, Coleman knocked Noah Smith out of the way there, but I think it was a little bit of an acting job by Smith. I don't think Coleman is strong enough to throw him quite that far.
And that will be number 2 on Coleman. Going to the basket, and a block there by Scrafton. And Danville with a chance to tie or take there, at least tie the game here. Long 3 on the way. Too strong that time from McMahon. Screaming down court is Smith, and he goes right to the rim.
Nobody got in front of the basketball. Transition defense, huge.
Danville in a little bit of a situation now to not let this game get away from them. Inside is Webb. Lots of contention in his face. And Smith comes down with the rebound. Euro step inside, punching ahead this time is Urbanitis. Off the glass, and a timeout going to be called here by Danville.
Excellent pass. I really like the concepts that Plainfield has been using against the Danville zone so far. I think they've got some answers, and I'll be really surprised if Danville doesn't come out of this timeout and change it up a little bit.
This game is proudly sponsored by Endeavor Communications. Endeavor doesn't just provide ordinary old internet service. Their blazing fast, high-speed, fiber-based service is a game changer. Don't settle for less and switch to Endeavor for the winning play in connectivity. Visit weendeavor.com or call 1-800-922-6677. Endeavor Internet, your fiber connection, your victory. And there is Coach Andy Weaver. 391 wins in his 31st season as a head coach. Of course, making stops at Pioneer as well as Western before coming here to Plainfield. He led Western to 6 sectional championships and 1 regional before coming here to Plainfield.
It seems like he's been there forever, and Brian Barber has been there forever. 2 veteran coaches who do a great job year in and year out, and I've had a chance to work with both of those guys in the college recruiting process, and they are kid-first coaches, and you really like to see that.
Urbanitis leaving it up, trying to get it to Smith on the oop. Nothing there, but an offensive rebound taken by Colton East. Here is Gilead. He thought about that three again from deep, but thought better of it. Into the wing. Three on the way this time from Chase Swafford, and it's a little off the mark. Tricker pushes it now to Gavin Glenzie, who's into the ball game now for Danville for the first time.
So Plainfield has changed their defense up. They're in a 1-3-1 now.
Glenzie knocks down a baseline jumper. 6 players in the book now for Danville as they cut it back to a 5-point deficit with 5 minutes left to play. Smith back up top. Gilead scoops it up, taken out of the air that time by Jace Scrafton. Scrafton. Here is Tricker. Lots of traffic. Patiently waits. Can't get the finish. Long ball intercepted this time again by Danville. So a few avoidable turnovers right there by Plainfield.
Well, you know, the thing about turning it over is one thing, but you can't stand around and complain about the calls, right? You got to get back and you got to get to the next play. And Danville was lucky that time because they had 2 or 3 players kind of doing the palms up thing, like how do you make that call? And
Scrafton.
Plainfield's going the other way with it.
Misses that one, but here is Plainfield. Arvanitis completely surrounded by Danville players, and a foul going to be called on one of them. And they're going to have to wait to get some substitutions here as the foul is going to be called on Mason Shipley, another football player who moonlights on the basketball court for Danville. Whereas Plainfield, as I talked about, winning in spurts and not streaks. They have not put together more than 3 wins in a row this season. But certainly lots of opportunities to change that streak here as we go into this back half of the season. Here is Scrafton, working in traffic, puts it off the glass, nothing there. Smith comes down with the rebound. Martin and Smith working together up court, now to Swafford.
I really like the fact that Plainfield is insistent on working that short corner area against the zone, and it's really paying dividends for them.
Meanwhile, the 3 goes down for Harper. Baker lands. He now has 9 points. All of his points, coach, have come from behind the arc. Stolen away by Plainfield again and taken right back by Danville. That's Jace Scrafton's 3rd steal of the night. And it has certainly worked so far, but they have not been able to cash in on them. Meanwhile, a tie-up is going to be called here as Tricker gets held up by Barton, and Danville is bailed out by the fact they possess the possession arrow. You can certainly see the physicality between these 2 ball clubs. Tricker along the baseline, way too long that time. And to just kind of put things in check, Coleman just throws that off of Smith, who is standing out of bounds at the time. So a heads-up play there by Coleman as they'll reset this possession. But right now here, Coach, Danville doesn't look like they're very organized on the offensive end.
Well, especially, you know, one of the things that you can see is they've just had 2 out-of-bounds unders in a row. And guys are just kind of shuffling to their spots and just no urgency in getting in position.
Scrafton, though, is able to kind of shake off the cobwebs there as he gets another bucket. He has 4 points. Lands from deep again. He is 4 of 5 from behind the arc tonight. Well, he has 12 points.
Yeah, Kurt, I don't care what kind of defense you're playing. It can't be 1 pass and a wide open 3. It's just not a very good recipe for success.
Largest lead of the night now for Plainfield. As we tick inside the final 2.5 minutes of this half, Scrafton right down the lane with a right hand.
Good back cut. He was overplayed a little bit, went the other way with it. Great pass.
There is Barton, blocked from behind that time from Gavin Glenzie. Glenzie only a 6-foot senior, but he gets the block that time on his 5'7" counterpart, who's a junior. Here is Tricker. trying to get a bucket, blocked that time by Shipley, or rather I should say Swafford, and Swafford's going to be fouled in transition. You can see Tricker a little frustrated right now as he's having a hard time getting some buckets to fall here.
He's got a few things to say to Mr. Gilead. And I can't hear him from here, but they didn't look friendly.
So Tricker's going to remain in the ball game here. That's only his first foul. Meanwhile, the aforementioned Gilead holding the ball on the left wing.
Well, the other thing about playing zone is you got to identify what hurts you, right? And Plainfield's had a couple guys knock down threes already, and you gotta locate those guys. You got to cheat to them a little bit. You got to anticipate that the ball's going to go there, and Danville right now is just not nearly as active as they need to be in the zone that they're playing.
Heat check that last time by Harper Baker lands as he's hit 4 3-pointers, certainly feeling it right there, but that's his second miss of the afternoon. Danville now down by 7. Trying to cut it even more here. McMahon working here on Steed. Tricker off the elbow. Trying to get inside. Instead leaves it for the cutting Webb, who uses that big frame to get the floater to go.
It really is reminding me of the girls' game because it feels like Plainfield has been in control of this game, but it's still a 5-point ball game.
They've certainly had more opportunities than Danville to try and extend this lead, and yet it is still only a 5-point ball game. 30 seconds to play now. And a little bit of stall ball here for Plainfield to try and hold for the final shot.
And that just seems to be fine with Danville. They're looking to shorten this game up any way they can.
Plainfield now beginning to move their set here with Gilead, and Harper Baker lands. Gilead back outside, 3 on the way for Plainfield. Off the mark that time. The putback doesn't go either there for the Quakers as Swafford couldn't get the follow-up, but a halftime score here, 25-20, as Plainfield holding on to the lead, and Danville with a little bit of work to do going to the second half here in this one. Stick with us at halftime. You're watching the Hendricks County Boys Basketball Tournament here on the ISC Sports Network.
Again?
Tortured by technology? Have no fear. Endeavor is here with Speed Geeks. Our Speed Geeks are expert technicians ready to rescue you from technology troubles. Our experts are here to get and keep your Wi-Fi running properly. We'll even make sure all of your devices stay connected. Give us a call or visit weendeavor.com to see if you're in our service area. Endeavor Communications, technology for real people.
It's time to supercharge your internet with ridiculous speeds up to 1 gig from Endeavor. Get ready for high gear downloads that power buffer-free streaming, gaming, sharing, and surfing. And fire up all your devices at once with reliable speeds amplified by the latest Wi-Fi equipment. Get on the fast track to a powerful online experience. Contact Endeavor and supercharge your internet today.
Again?
Tortured by technology? Have no fear. Endeavor is here with Speed Geeks. Our Speed Geeks are expert technicians ready to rescue you from technology troubles. Our experts are here to get and keep your Wi-Fi running properly. We'll even make sure all of your devices stay connected. Give us a call or visit weendeavor.com to see if you're in our service area. Endeavor Communications, technology for real people.
Brewer jams it home.
That ball wiggles in and into the back of the net.
A little fireworks in the first half. Throw it up for Tillman. Whoa, my goodness. 22-6-0 for Penn.
What a swim! Six of them.
Halftime here at Danville, here on the ISC Sports Network. Bill Fenlon, Kurt Darling here with you as live coverage continuing of the boys Hendricks County basketball tournament is progressing. Of course, this is the semifinal of the tournament. The final going to be played on Monday. Of course, the winner of this game will go on to face the Orioles of Avon in that championship game, which was supposed to be played tonight here, Coach, but of course having to delay things a little bit here. We got about 3 or 4 inches of snow in the Indy metro area yesterday.
I noticed.
Yeah.
You know, I live most of the time in Florida, and it's cold down there too, which means it's 60. So the good news when I come up here to hang out with you and do these games, it doesn't feel as cold because I know I don't have to stay.
Well, you don't have to rub it in, to say the least. But a pleasure, of course, to have you here, as always, here on the ISC Sports Network. But, Coach, when you look at how these two teams have handled it so far, again, just like the girls' game before us, this game could be a much wider margin if it really could have gone the way one of these teams, of course, being Plainfield, had their opportunities.
You're right, Kurt. It kind of feels like an optical illusion. Like, I think if there's no scoreboard, you're kind of looking at the game and you're thinking, okay, they're up 12-15, right? Just the way the game has felt. But they're not, and one of the main reasons they're not is they turned the ball over 9 times in the first, at least unofficially, by my count, they turned it over 9 times in the first half, which opened the door for Danville a little bit. And Danville, on the other hand, you know, they've got to handle the Plainfield pressure a little bit better, and I'd like to see them be if they're going to stay in this zone, and it looks like they're going to, I'd like to see them be a little more active at finding shooters and just being a little juicier out there defending in that zone.
Well, you take a look at those jerseys right there. Travis Carroll, certainly a big name here at Danville from the 2010 All-Star game, but Ella Collier in particular, having played for the girls now just over 4 years ago now, to say the least. Ella Collier, the all-time leading scorer here at Danville, but also the all-time leading scorer at Marion University this past year, of course, having graduated from there as well. Of course, lots of teams and lots of storied happenings here inside of this gym as well. But, Coach, when you're looking at how these two teams have matched up here, of course, we'll look at some highlights here at the other end of this next timeout, but what are some of the things you really want to see going into the second half?
Well, I want to see Danville a little more active in the zone, and I want to see them handle the Plainfield pressure just a little bit better. I really feel that Plainfield has a great concept of what they want to do versus the zone. They've just got to take a little bit better care of the basketball, maybe not take quite so many chances with it, and continue to stay on the offensive glass, because that's I used to tell my teams, it doesn't matter what you do against the zone as long as you, A, don't turn it over, and B, offensive rebound, right? Those are two things that are going to beat the zone all day long. And that's what Plainfield's got to do if they're going to continue to have success against the Danville zone.
We'll take a look at some highlights right after this. Stick with us here on the ISC Sports Network.
Want lightning-fast internet speeds? Choose Endeavor. Go from slow to whoa. From last to fast. And wait to great. Endeavor Communications is bringing the fastest internet speed in Indiana to your town, so you can download huge files in a flash, stream videos at blazing speeds, and game online faster than you thought possible. Think fast and contact Endeavor Communications today at join.weendeavor.com.
Again?
Tortured by technology? Have no fear. Endeavor is here with Speed Geeks. Our Speed Geeks are expert technicians ready to rescue you from technology troubles. Our experts are here to get and keep your Wi-Fi running properly. We'll even make sure all of your devices stay connected. Give us a call or visit weendeavor.com to see if you're in our service area. Endeavor Communications, technology for real people.
It's time to supercharge your internet with ridiculous speeds up to 1 gig from Endeavor. Get ready for high gear downloads that power buffer-free streaming, gaming, sharing, and surfing. And fire up all your devices at once with reliable speeds amplified by the latest Wi-Fi equipment. Get on the fast track to a powerful online experience. Contact Endeavor and supercharge your internet today.
Again?
Tortured by technology? Have no fear. Endeavor is here with Speed Geeks. Our Speed Geeks are expert technicians ready to rescue you from technology troubles. Our experts are here to get and keep your Wi-Fi running properly. We'll even make sure all of your devices stay connected. Give us a call or visit weendeavor.com to see if you're in our service area. Endeavor Communications, technology for real people.
Coach, let's take a look at some first half highlights of this one. And there was it was certainly a high octane pace to begin this ball game here with the first 2 quarters.
Well, that first one was Smith sneaking behind the zone. And what you'll see is also him stepping out to the 3-point line and knocking shots in. And that's what I was talking about. You know, you got to identify that. It's getting you. You know, it's hurting you. You got to find the numbers that are hurting you. And guys with a 2 or 2 2s on their jersey are hurting them a little bit, hurting Danville a little bit.
Of course, the latter, that is Harper Baker Lands, who hit 4 3-pointers in that opening half. In fact, he was 4 of 6 in that regard. But Stephen Webb also getting some solid minutes for Danville as well on the other end.
Well, he's one of those little fire plug high school undersized post guys who likes to throw his weight around, and he's a very physical player.
Well, he's also an offensive lineman on the Danville football team.
He looks like one.
He certainly operates like that and does an excellent job in that regard as well. By the way, he's a senior, so of course now ex-football player for Danville, but still moving into the second half, going to be looking for a lot from him. He has 5 points, second leading scorer for Danville behind Jace Scrafton. Of course, didn't see a whole lot in the highlight package there, Bill, but Jace Scrafton certainly was a little bit of a factor for Danville when it came to forcing turnovers and creating opportunities.
So he made a couple of good plays while he was in there, got in a little bit of foul trouble. He's averaging 10 points a game on the year, but I think the thing that's really surprising is we didn't really get much out of Tricker in the first half. Plainfield's done a really good job of keeping different bodies on him and keeping him on one side of the floor and not giving him space to penetrate. And they're going to have to keep doing that in the second half to be able to extend this lead and win the game.
Of course, Tricker just held to 3 points in that first half, all of them coming in the first quarter. He was held in check in the second quarter. In fact, the last couple of the shots that he took didn't even touch rims, so he is a little bit off kilter as we go into the second half.
Yeah, Kurt. I mean, that's a guy who had 32 in their last game. So, I mean, that's not – you can't get 32 by accident.
Plainfield getting the ball here to start the second half as they try to build on their 5-point lead. They've led by as many as 11. Here is Gilliat. He's been deadly from behind the arc so far. And he tries it again, and he's just off the mark that time. Scrafton comes down with a rebound. Webb hard to the basket again, and he gets the roll.
It's really wide across the shoulder. He kind of gets that shoulder on you, protects the basketball. He's pretty good at sneaking it in the bucket.
Back to a 3-point game. Lands from behind the arc again, leaves it short. So Tricker, of course, on the receiving end of the chance from the Plainfield student section at the moment. Meanwhile, Danville with a chance to at least tie the game or cut it to 1. Webb again to the glass, and he's going to draw the foul. And that certainly seems to be his domain, Coach.
Well, he's kind of forcing the issue, like I said at halftime. Physical player who doesn't mind putting his body on you, and he's able to, because of his width across his shoulders, he's able to protect the basketball. and get you to try to come after it and foul him a little bit.
He averages just north of 7.5 points per contest as he leaves that one right off the front of the rim. Against foul shooting, not his strong suit, only 64% on the season. Although I would imagine there's probably a little power in his mullet.
I wouldn't know much about that, but you know, maybe. I wouldn't discount it.
But he leaves both of those foul shots short. He is 1 for 4 at the line today. Just keeping it in play here is Plainfield. And a corner three short from Cameron McMahon. Going right down the lane is Smith. Can't quite handle the ball as it gets turned over back to Danville. Long pass here to McMahon. Scrafton will let it fly from the top of the key, off the mark. Offensive rebound taken this time by Coleman, and he throws it right into the hands of Swafford. Swafford has to get rid of it. Here comes Arvanitis. Euro step inside and puts it in with a right hand. Still holding on to the 5-point lead here is Plainfield, I should say. Scrafton from the elbow. He's hit that shot before, doesn't do it that time.
It's a tough one. Didn't really get the balance. He was floating a little bit. You know, and you got to think the wily veteran, Coach Barber, is he's playing the numbers a little bit. You know, he's staying in that zone. There's Tricker.
And he finally gets back on the board after going 0-4 in the second quarter, and a timeout going to be called here by Plainfield.
What I was going to say was he's playing the numbers a little bit, because Plainfield's only shooting 31% from the three-point line as a team, and you know there's also a tendency to maybe settle for the three when you're seeing that zone over and over again. And if they have a stretch where they're not making any, you know, that's a chance for Danville to step into the breach a little bit.
This third quarter is brought to you by Endeavor Communications, which doesn't just provide old and ordinary internet service. Their blazing fast, high-speed fiber-based service is a game changer. Don't settle for less and switch to Endeavor for the winning play in connectivity. Visit WeEndeavor.com or call 1-800-922-6677. Endeavor Internet, your fiber connection, your victory. Well, right now, Coach Weaver talking a few things over with Plainfield. Of course, Coach Weaver opting to do a team camp this summer instead of doing the summer shootouts, which a lot of these teams do in the offseason. More or less to just try and build a little more team chemistry. And based on what we've been seeing so far, Plainfield certainly has no shortage of that.
Yeah, no, they're a team that shares the basketball. They play pretty hard on the defensive end, and they've got some capable scorers.
Still, though, it's a 3-point ball game as Danville trying to get the lead. They've led briefly in this ball game. It was in the first quarter, but it has been Plainfield ever since.
And once again, they're staying in the zone.
Barton in and out on that one. Offensive rebound by Lands. He tries the follow-up, and he gets it to go. And, Coach, that is the first bucket that he has made inside the arc today.
Well, they needed it. They had settled for the threes, just really weren't making them, and they need to get some stuff off the offensive glass.
How about Webb pulling the trigger from deep, leaves it short?
Because as you know, don't turn it over an offensive rebound, and it really doesn't matter what else you do against the zone.
Tipped up and out of bounds. It stays here with Plainfield. And, Coach, I believe your old adage is the ball isn't made of leather, but some sort of precious metal, I believe.
You got to treat it like gold. It looks like leather, but you got to treat it like gold.
Long inbound here to Trey Barton. And facing up against a zone defense here from Danville. 3 on the way for Plainfield, off the mark from Swafford. Loose ball fought for here. Another rebound falls into the hands of Scrafton.
I like that, though. Those are the threes you'd like to take, is the ones that come inside out. The side-to-side threes just don't seem to be don't seem to go at as high a percentage.
Scrafton with a wing three, and that cuts it back down to a 2-point ball game. First made three ball tonight by Scrafton. He has 9 points.
Well, he had to sit the better part of the second quarter, I think, in the first half. So getting him back out there gives the Warriors another dimension from a scoring perspective.
We've only had one foul called here in this entire quarter, as the three ball to answer is down for Chase Swafford.
Another inside-out three. I wouldn't take a three if the ball didn't touch the paint first. And maybe that's what Coach Weaver told him in that last timeout, because that's what they've gotten the last two of the last three possessions.
Well, Elijah Tricker has been held in check, as now we have a foul going to be called on Danville, as Harper Baker-Lands came away with the steal. And that is going to be McMahon picking up his first. Well, these two teams have met 61 times in the last 40 years. Plainfield leading the series 37-24 since 1985. And the last time that the Quakers beat the Warriors was a 93-72 win in their last meeting on February 27th of 2024. And
well, that was interesting. They tried to screen the middleman in the zone and set up a lob play. Danville diagnosed it, and the passer just went ahead and threw it anyway. Out of bounds.
Plainfield holding Danville at arm's length, as Barton going to get called for the block. So call it a broadcaster's jinx or something here, Coach. I mentioned there was only one foul in the first 6 minutes. We've now had two in the last 30 seconds. Tricker, again, mostly held in check tonight, but Webb just slips it up, and a hard rebound taken there by Coleman, but couldn't come away with it, as it's stolen away by Barton, who goes in and draws the end one. First bucket for Trey Barton tonight in transition. And as you've mentioned this several times, Coach, swatting down to try and get the block results in that
You got to
foul.
let him bring the ball to you, but I'll tell you what, that was really unfortunate for Danville, because I've got them only for 2 offensive rebounds so far in the game, and that was the second one. Unfortunately, he ended up on the floor, and it turned into a turnover and a layup on the other end.
Well, we've talked about Coach Weaver an awful lot here tonight. 165 wins here at Plainfield, 391 on his career. But of course, he led the Quakers to their first sectional championship in over 2 decades back in 2021, and now trying to get back there again. But of course, playing in a tough sectional at Avon this year, including the teams like Brownsburg, Avon, Pike, and Ben Davis, all of whom are having excellent seasons this year.
A lot of good teams in that sectional. A lot of good teams.
Barton hits the end one. Back out to a 7-point lead here on a quick 6-0 run for Plainfield. Here is Tricker. He has been harassed all night long by this Plainfield defense. With a lane inside off the glass, that time goes McMahon.
Well, Barton is really trying to make Tricker's life miserable on the Plainfield defensive end and having some success with it.
Barton with an opening on the wing, and he hits it. And so now Trey Barton starting to heat up. He has now scored each of the last 6 points for Plainfield, as it gets back out to a 9-point advantage.
That's the flip side of staying in that zone. You're leaving shooters open, and if they start to make them, they're going to extend on you in a hurry.
Well, Barton doesn't do a lot of shooting this season. Of course, whenever he does, he's mostly efficient, about 41% from the field in total this year.
Yeah, Kurt, he looked pretty good on that one. Just stepped up into that and shot it with a lot of confidence.
And Tricker takes the inbound, and Swafford, they say, taps it out of bounds off of his hand. That happened right in front of the Plainfield bench. Coach Weaver wanted it to be Plainfield ball.
I haven't seen him switch those calls yet.
Spin move inside by Tricker, and he is blocked there by Swafford. And Tricker is just having a tough game right now here for Danville as they are sticking to him like glue on the defensive end.
Well, if he's able to get in the lane like that, that's a great time. You know, he's not a big guy, so finishing over the top is going to be tough on him. But that's a great place to play make from. You know, you can spit it out to shooters, you can drop it off to guys, but he's such a score-first guy that he has not made that adjustment yet.
Colton East going to be assessed his third foul as he tried to come away with that steal from Jace Scrafton. This is a Plainfield squad that averages 8 steals a ball game, and they have certainly been pushing that average so far today. .65 seconds left to play in the quarter, and there is Scrafton to lay it in. Or rather shoot it up and in, I should say.
That's a tough shot. Fade away, guarded, contested. Man, I don't know. And he's showed the ability to make those.
So as Harper Baker lands from a little bit further out. 5 made three-pointers for him today.
That's what I used to tell my players about shot selection. Like, do you think making that shot consistently is going to pay my mortgage? Because if you don't take that shot.
A very financial way to approach that situation.
Well, it's like I used to say, if you think that shot's going to send Hannah and Quinn, my kids, to college?
Meanwhile, Danville needs a good shot. This is about to one of the largest leads we've seen tonight at 10 points, and another turnover there by Danville. So 6 ticks on the clock here in the third quarter. Danville has gone on an 8-2 run, and trying to add to it here is Smith. He can't get that one to go. And the full court heave is a little off the mark that time.
I don't know if you can let him throw it three-quarter court to a guy who just walks into a three with 5 seconds to go. They had 3 or 4 defenders just sitting back there watching.
10-point game going to the final quarter after this here on ISC.
Brewer jams it home.
That ball wiggles in and into the back of the net.
A little fireworks in the first half. Throw it up for Tillman. Oh, my goodness. 122-6-0 for Penn.
What a swim! 6 of them.
41-31 as Plainfield and the student section alive with a gray out here, it appears, here for the Quakers as they go to the fourth and final quarter here on ISC Sports Network, the semifinal of the Hendricks County Boys Basketball Tournament. Bill Fenlon, Kurt Darling here with you. Coach, some work to do here for Danville.
Yeah, they've got to, again, it looks like they're going to stay in that zone. And if Plainfield stays heated up like they were the last half of the third quarter, it's going to be a problem. I'd be interested to see if they maybe shake it up and just try to play them with a little bit of a different defense, just to see if it might work and get them going a little bit. But
either way, Danville, each possession a little bit more precious, and they can certainly try and get there with opportunities like that as McMahon gets the shot to fall with the and one.
Well, McMahon started the third quarter the same way with a drive off that left wing, and he's shown the ability to get to the rim and finish a little bit.
He now has 6 points. Cameron McMahon, of course, described as Coach Brian Barber as super important to be able to spread out the scoring. And he's trying to do a little bit more of that here going into the latter part of this game. He knocks down that shot.
Well, it's really important right here that Danville stays within striking distance. They've got to keep it in single digits and eke their way back into it here. Because at some point, Plainfield's going to get more and more deliberate, and they're going to have to come out of that zone.
Scrafton pokes that one out of bounds after Gilead, as well as Harper Baker lands, trying to look for their opportunities. Long time to get that inbound in. They finally do to Burton. Here is Barton. Double teamed in the forecourt. Pushes ahead to Smith. Wide open underneath, and patiently waiting down low is Colton East for Plainfield. He'll draw the foul here on Scrafton.
Well, this will be an interesting call because I don't know if he actually did get the shot up. So the call's made right there.
And it was on the floor as Baker lands, puts it up and nothing there, but on the follow-up is Colton East. That is East's second bucket tonight. He has 4 points. And it's back to a 9-point lead here for the Quakers. Bounce ahead to Scrafton in the lane. Doesn't get a friendly roll. And trying to get the rebound that time was Webb. And taking a shot hard to the floor there. Webb going to get assessed the foul as Gilead took a pretty good shoulder check there from the football player in the fall.
Yeah, he popped right back up, though. He's been hit harder, but he got hit pretty hard.
He did. First foul, rather the second foul on Stephen Webb here today. And already 2 fouls on Danville in the early going of this fourth quarter. Remember, 5 fouls and you get the foul shots automatically.
Well, Tricker's had a little success poking the ball out from behind, but I'm not sure that giving a foul right there is good strategy for Danville.
Already foul number 2 on Elijah Tricker, the 3rd team foul of the quarter. Plainfield looking for their 2nd win in a row. Again, they have not been able to put more than 3 wins together this season. Tipped up, loose ball, corralled by Smith. Here is Barton, I should say, and he hits the 3. Second three-pointer today for Trey Barton. 9 points for him and a foul going for the rebound, it appears.
Not sure what that whistle was about.
Not quite sure either, so no foul was called, it seems. But this is the largest lead of the night at 12 points for Plainfield. So the Warriors feeling the urgency now as the baseline jumper does not go. It goes a little long, and it'll come back the other way here on the subsequent foul call. And that is another one on Elijah Tricker, his 3rd.
And it's 90 feet from the bucket against a guy who has the rebound. And you're probably not going to take, every now and then you can sneak that in there, but that foul doesn't put him on the free throw line, but it brings him one more foul closer to being on the free throw line. And with them being in the lead right now, that is absolutely not what you want to do.
Plainfield well in control of this one as they look now for their 8th win on the season. Tipped up and stolen away by Tricker. And a foul subsequently called there on Gilead as he tries to go in for the tie-up.
Well, he turned it over and tried to get it back, but he missed the easy play. Ward, who's 2 for 2 from 3, was just standing right to his right, and he decided he was going to try to throw it by the Danville guy instead, and he had to pay for that.
Here is McMahon. Inside to Coleman. Coleman, baseline jump shot, nothing there. Well, Coach, time is running out here for Danville to put a run together.
Well, they are probably, I've been saying it all day. Whether they're going to stay in that zone. Great interior passing right there. Ball goes into the high post. They've had a guy running on the baseline and a guy flashing into the high post all day. Those guys really put that together on that possession.
That was Noah Smith, his 8th point of the ball game. Corner 3 doesn't fall there for Glenzie. Offensive rebound tracked down by Glenzie, and he puts it in. Heck of an effort there by the senior. And that gets it back to a 12-point game as Coach Weaver going to take a timeout here to talk things over here for the final 4.5 minutes. Well, today's game has been sponsored by Endeavor Communications, which doesn't provide just any old ordinary internet service, but rather their blazing fast, high-speed, fiber-based service is a game changer. Don't settle for less and switch to Endeavor for the winning play in connectivity. Visit weendeavor.com or call 1-800-922-6677. Endeavor Internet, your fiber connection, your victory. We haven't had a chance to talk about Brian Barber an awful lot tonight, Coach, since Plainfield has been well in control of this one. But, of course, Brian Barber, his 26th season at the helm of Danville, took over for Rick Snodgrass in 1999, where he went on to North Harrison, but led Danville to the school's first sectional championship in 36 years back in 2000. The last time they'd won a sectional championship was 1964. So lots of success here for Danville to build a program here with the helm of Brian Barber here over his 26 seasons.
Well, if I'm a betting man, I'm going to say Coach Barber is going to come out of that zone here. And if I'm Coach Weaver, that timeout was, hey, if they don't come out of the zone, we're not going to shoot it, right? We're going to just let the clock run down. And it looks like they're staying in it.
And Smith takes advantage of an opening along the baseline. He gets the flush for his 10th point. 14-point lead now for Plainfield, their largest of the evening. A foul away from the ball going to be called here by Plainfield. And it looks like they're going to get Gilead again. Or rather, no, that is going to be Colton East picking up his 4th. So he may come out of the ball game here for Coach Andy Weaver as Gilead set to check back in.
He was trying to deny a little bit in the middle of the floor, and I just think he kind of got a little bit of shirt there, and the referee saw the shirt fly and decided he was holding him and went ahead and blew that whistle.
Scrafton underneath Webb with the finish. Well, Stephen Webb.
Excellent pass by Scrafton, sorry.
An excellent night for Webb, though. 9 points above his season average. And touched out of bounds there by Scrafton. But, Coach, with 3:45 left to play, a 12-point deficit is certainly hard to overcome here in that amount of time.
Well, if you're gonna stay in a 2-3 zone, it really is, because you're not putting any pressure on Plainfield to shoot the ball.
Smith will take the baseline jumper. Back-to-back buckets for him. 6 points in this quarter alone. He has 12 on the night. Working it up is McMahon. Touched out of bounds. They'll say that was off of Plainfield. Looked like it may have been off of Swafford for that final play. Well, again, this is the first of what will be 2 meetings for these 2 ball clubs today. Of course, they will finish off each other's regular seasons on February 27th. You can catch that game, of course, here on ISC Sports Network, but also will be live locally on My Indy TV. Greg Rakestraw will be on the call of that one later on here on February 27th. Right down the lane, that time goes Swafford, and he gets the and one.
Well, Plainfield has been extremely efficient here the last 4 or 5 possessions, and Danville just doesn't have an answer right now.
rattling home the extra foul shot. Swafford now with 5 points. And Plainfield slowly pulling away here in the final 3 minutes. Long three does not touch rim again for Elijah Tricker. He has not had the best of nights scoring the ball here for Danville. And a timeout going to be called before that sequence trapping going out of bounds by Coach Weaver to talk things over and keep possession.
Great timeout call. You saw him, he's about to turn it over. And he said, yeah, maybe we shouldn't turn it over. We'll just take a timeout.
So again, the winner of this ball game will go on to face Avon in the Hendricks County title game to be played on Monday. But then Plainfield will have to keep going on with the rest of their season. They have matchups against Northview on January 18th. But then, Coach, they got to go on the road to face Lawrence North, which will certainly be a tough matchup going over to the east side.
Well, I've seen Lawrence North. They're extremely talented. Little bit difficult to gauge how Plainfield will play against that sort of athleticism and pressure, given that we've watched them play 32 minutes against the zone tonight. So, but I certainly think they're talented enough to play with them, and should be a good game.
Meanwhile, Danville, once this tournament is over, of course, they will go on to the third place game where they will face Tri-West on Monday. But then they will turn right back around to get back into conference play. Of course, Tri-West, a fellow Sagamore Conference foe. That will be a non-conference game for them. But then they face North Montgomery on January 17th. Barton back underneath in Plainfield. Certainly in a little bit time-wasting mode here on this possession to try and put this one away. Gilliat, runner off the elbow inside, and he goes.
Just split the two top guys, and it all starts. They've done a great job of putting the ball on the short corner and playing out of that all night long against the Danville zone.
Webb off the follow-up in the miss from Tricker. Inside the final 2 minutes as Plainfield going along the sideline. Three on the way and a finish. Cherry on top from Harper Baker lands his 6th three-pointer tonight. He has 20 points.
Well, a guy like that, he sees a 2-3 zone. He's just licking his chops.
Trying to answer with a three of his own. That time was Glenzie.
He's like, you're going to just let me stand out here and shoot threes? That's cool. I'll do it.
And it's touched out of bounds. Of course, I mentioned the Sagamore Conference, Danville in particular. This is the last year that they're playing in the Sagamore Conference. And it's not quite sure where they will be ending up as far as the conference is next year, but with the Sagamore Conference virtually disbanding with the creation of the Monon Athletic Conference for many of the teams in that one, this is the last year they're going to be playing in a conference for the time being.
Well, you can keep all that straight. I can't keep that straight. That's like college basketball.
Conference realignment. It is a thing both in the high school level as well as college. Of course, Plainfield firmly in the Mid-State Conference. They are atop the Mid-State Conference so far this year with 3 wins to no losses in conference play. Inside the final minute here of this one, and Plainfield certainly going to put a cherry on top of this one as they look to face Avon for the first time this season. In fact, actually the second time this season. They played Avon at the very beginning of their season back on November 27th. It was a 47-41 win to open the year for the Quakers. This is Logan Scott who gets on the board. He does not see a whole lot of playing time this year. He averages about 3 points a ball game. As Scrafton tries to add a little more to his total. He's had a solid night for Danville, all things considered. The subsequent three doesn't go either for McMahon. And so Plainfield will walk this across court. And Danville appears to be content to let this one melt away as Plainfield will move to 8-4 on the year, getting their second win in a row, their fourth win in their last 5 games. Coming up here on a Hendricks County Boys Basketball Championship. Arvanitis will put up a final shot right there on this possession, and they get the offensive rebound. So as the final 5 seconds tick down, your final score in this one, 61-40. A convincing win here for Plainfield to move on to the Hendricks County Championship 2 days from now. Coach, a solid win for Plainfield.
A really good win for Plainfield. They showed great poise and patience against the zone most of the night, and then they really solved it late in the second half and were able to just pull away.
So Danville will face Tri-West in the third-place game. Plainfield will face Avon here in 2 days. Thanks for watching the Hendricks County Boys Basketball County Tournament here on ISC Sports Network. For Alex Laverne, our cameraman, for Vince Morellis, our director, for Coach Bill Finland, I'm Kirk Darling, saying so long till next time. You've been watching high school basketball here on the ISC Sports Network.